Hello YouTube. I've played Clash Royale since its launch back in 2016 for the last 7 years. I've won almost 30,000 games, and the majority of that, if not almost every single game, has been with Hog. So in this video, I want to go over some games that I've played and kind of show you what that many hours in Clash Royale looks like. My improvement journey in Clash Royale has been a little bit strange. For the first 2 years of playing the game, I was a complete casual player. I just played, every now and again. I played with friends, and the game was a lot more pay to win back then. To get a maxed account, to be able to play higher up on ladder, you had to spend tens of thousands of dollars. And I was back in school, I didn't have that kind of money. Still don't. I then took a year break from the game. It was just one of those games that I had on my phone and then I didn't have on my phone. I thought I'd never play it again. I thought it'd be like Crossy Road or Flappy Bird or something. Then a year later, I just randomly reinstalled the game whilst on holiday. And I don't know, I hated losing when I came back, and I just felt the need to find a deck that was good enough. And I felt this urge to try and get good at the game again. Well, not again, for the first time. So what I did was I remember looking up YouTube videos of the best free-to-play decks, and the two decks that were most mainstream at the time was 3.0, well, actually it was 2.9 Expo, or what we know today is 3.0 Expo, and 2.6 Hog. And that was kind of my my introduction to Hog decks. I played both for a while, and my first ranked finish actually was with Expo. Then after that, it's just been Hog all the way. So I just want to share some games here. I've picked up quite a lot of stuff over the years of playing 2.6. You learn quite a lot at the start, and each improvement you make feels like a massive step. But as you kind of progress, each new thing you learn is far less important in the grand scheme of things, but it adds up overall. So in this match, this was a pretty clean game I played against Royal Recruits. He's running the Little Prince, which is really annoying. It's very hard for 2.6 to actually deal with Little Prince ability. You almost always have to spend more elixir than the 3 it costs for the ability. And 2.6 also doesn't have any splash damage, so it's kind of difficult dealing with the recruits themselves. So actually making sure that your micro defense is really on point in this matchup is kind of crucial. He was randomly running a balloon. I couldn't really explain to you why he was running a balloon, but anyway, that was an easy win. So for the rest of the games, I want to walk you guys through my thought process. It's something I've developed over years of playing the game and a lot of just thinking even outside of the games. So against LavaHound, I didn't have my Hog. Normally I'd want to pressure opposite lane because he's dropped a lot of elixir on a LavaHound, but I didn't have it, and so I just went for an Ice Golem in front of some skeletons. Here I managed to protect my Musketeer from the fireball, so it lives just for long enough that it can DPS down the LavaHound. I cycle back to another Musketeer, and his whole push is kind of dead. I went for a Hog in the middle of it to try and get some damage, and I mean, him running guards is a little bit surprising. Most people aren't running guards just because of double evolutions. Most people are running Evo barbs, and some people are running Evo skeletons as well in LavaHound. Kind of annoying, but is what it is. I changed lane. The reason I don't go same lane is because when he goes LavaHound in the back, I don't really want to have to go for a Hog into that and just help feed into a massive push. Unfortunately, my Evo skellies did absolutely nothing, and so I had to waste a log and an Evo Ice Spirit. I'm down a lot of elixir here, and at this point I already know that my game plan is going to be to try and tower trade, because I know that it's going to be extremely difficult to fully defend this, and I know that if I can get it to a tower trade situation, my chances of winning will be a lot higher. I'm down so much elixir. We're basically equal right now, and he has a LavaHound, and I only have a Musk. So he's going for a LavaLoon push. I go for a Hog just so that he can't overcommit on spells to kill my Musketeer. Like, he went for a Fireball and wanted to use his arrows, but because I went for a Hog he didn't have elixir. I completely whiff on that Fireball. I don't know what I was doing. I was trying to protect the Musketeer from the pups, but thought I could also hit the balloon, and it just didn't work. We're still equal though. I mean, we have a slight lead, but he's got a lava push coming, and okay, at this point I'm like, if I can just, I know that he's going to go for Evo Barbs, so I go Ice Golem Hog, and I prediction log, because even if he goes guards, they'll die, and then I just fireball. I'm like, okay, I actually could have saved my tower here if he didn't fireball, so it was actually a really good fireball by him, because it also hit my Ice Golem, which meant that the Mega Minion instantly went on my tower. If I had a little bit more time, I could have gone for a Musk plus some support troops or cycle cards, but he didn't give me a chance. So now we have to defend this. I go in because he just used his arrows. I mean, he's back to it now, but, you know, we still get good damage. You have to fireball Evo Bats, because at least Barbs you can defend with log and stuff. There's just no way of defending Evo Bats without fireball. I pull back the balloon with a cannon, just to make it go, you know, behind the bridge, and so my tower targets the lava pups and stuff. I don't know why he's spamming these cards, thinking that, you know, I'm not going to fully defend the balloon, but I was just kind of waiting to see how much he'd overcommit. He just wasted guards and bats just trying to get a balloon to the tower, which I was going to fireball anyway. So now I just cycle a Musketeer, and this is perfect. I keep track of his elixir. I knew at exactly that moment. Well, I kind of gambled. I assumed he was going to go for a Lava Hound. So I went for a Hog Ride and got the timing perfectly. And so first I protect my Musketeer with an Ice Golem. And then I'm just thinking, okay, if I can just kill these Barbs with my Musketeer, or the second Musketeer, then we're good. He spams, I just low log, and all of that's dead. And also because he went for a balloon in the pocket, it just gets melted by my King Tower and Musk. Hog did a lot of damage to his tower. He gives me tons of fireball value here. I have to waste my Evo Skeletons on defense on the right, just because nothing was tanking for the lava pups, and they do sneakily do a lot of damage. Here I go for a Hog, and he doesn't even have Barbs. He actually has nothing for this. I just log for no real reason. We get a Hog hit, and that's in fireball range. GG's. The next game I want to share with you guys is against Graveyard. Now this is quite a difficult matchup because they have a building, they have tornado, and they have a bowler. So it's kind of difficult to get hog damage in this matchup. We do manage to score an early hog hit on his tower, which was nice, but we still have a lot of work ahead of us if we're going to win this game. So I'm just cycling cards. He goes for a bowler in the back, and in single elixir I like to go Musketeer opposite lane. The reason being, I know that if I can get back to Skeleton's Ice Spirit, that will full counter a bowler for a positive 3 elixir trade, and that just means I can go really aggressive in the opposite lane, as if I'm up, you know, as if I'm up 3 elixir. He goes for a barbell. I late log just so that he doesn't expect it, and my Hog does manage to get one hit. He nados back, so that means he's used his Inferno and he's used his building, which is nice. That means I can instantly hog. I could have hogged even earlier actually, but still we hog early. We do manage to get one hit. I think if I hogged, you know, if I was a little bit more decisive, I could have gotten another hog hit, but that's okay. Here there's a cool little interaction you can do. You can actually get a King Tower from a bowler if you play your Musketeer at the right timing like this. I almost time it right, not quite though, so we do take one bowler hit to the tower, and I don't manage to get King either. If I got King Tower, it probably would have been good game right there, but sadly it's not the case. I'm just cycling now. We cycle a log. I have these evolution cards in cycle, which I'm keeping in mind, but I don't really have a good way of getting value from Evo Ice Spirit in this matchup, so I just cycle it and force out his knight. I go in opposite lane just so that he doesn't go in for a graveyard, and because he goes for a high Inferno tower, I can actually fireball this because only his tower, actually nothing was even targeting my Hog, and his King Tower wasn't either. So now we forced out a building and a nado, and he just used his bowler. So that's all of his Hog counters out of cycle. I go for a cannon on defense, and then I'm thinking, okay, I need to go in opposite lane. So I go Ice Golem, and then I kind of wait to see if he's going to predict like with an Evo Knight, but no, he doesn't. So then I just go for a Hog Rider. He gets back to his Inferno Tower, so I've just got to let this push die. And I go for a Musketeer in the right lane, which was a mistake. I kind of just have to fireball because I can't let that Evo Archer do stuff. Yeah, this defense was fine, but I don't know. I think I should have gone for a Muskie in the other lane. Even if it gives him poison value, that's still, at least it stops him from going in for a massive graveyard push. So now we're down a little bit of damage, about 400. and we just got to reset, right? He's used his poison, so first I take fireball value on the archer, because I know that getting hog damage in this matchup is going to be pretty difficult. I just cycle both of my cannon and my musketeer. Poison value isn't really the end of the world, because poison isn't what's going to win in this game. It's all that graveyard chip. So he's still, now he's up quite a bit, right? Because I've decided to go into the right lane. You cannot go same lane against graveyard. With any Hog Rider deck, going same lane against a graveyard is basically GG's. He wastes his bowler on the right, so I'm just thinking, okay, let's just go in on the left. Because again, I can easily defend the bowler. I try catching his bar barrel, not quite. My Evo Ice Spirit doesn't really do much, and my Evo Skeletons carry that defense on the right. I go all in on the right again, and yeah, we managed to break through. He doesn't have his Nado, he didn't have, you know, HP on his building, so yeah, now we are slightly in the lead. Here I was expecting him to go for a graveyard, so I block the bridge and then go for a cannon. I Hog Rider at the same time just to force him to defend whilst he's going in on attack. This means that I'm getting back to my Hog Rider even quicker. I'm just tanking the bowler on the right because I don't really need to defend it. Sorry if I'm speaking quickly, there's a lot that goes on in this game. Again, I take the fireball chip and he decides to switch lanes. I don't know if that was a good play because I can just pull back the knight with a hog. And again, I'm just naked fireball cycling now because I realize that getting hog damage is going to be pretty difficult at this point in the game. He goes in for this. I have nothing to block the bridge, so I was a little bit annoyed. I was like, oh god, I'm going to take so much damage. So I'm just spamming cards, like praying I don't get too much, you know, RNG by the skeletons. And it's basically an even game now. I have to try and get damage, so I cycle a log, and I know I need a fireball, and I block the bridge. Blocking the bridge basically won me the game. You know, 700 damage, 900, I was like, okay, please. Yeah, and we win the game, just about. Very, very close. Moving on now, we're facing Hog EQ. This guy was running a very strange Hog EQ deck with no building, but I didn't know that. So at this point I was thinking this is already going to be difficult. And he's got Cannoneer. Cannoneer just completely shreds Hog Riders. I mean, Cannoneer, I hate the card. I want it to get nerfed. Basically everyone top ladder is just abusing it with minor cycle, but the game's the game. What are you going to do? So at this point he defends my Ice Golem Hog with no building, which kind of led me to believe that he's probably not running a building. At this point I was already a little bit suspicious, because why on earth would you defend that way? He just spent so much elixir when he could have just gone for like a bomb tower or a cannon. So at this point I'm already thinking maybe he doesn't have a building. But I just want to see what all of his cards are. Like, I don't know he has Little Prince. I managed to get the cannon trick, and I instantly go for a Hog Rider, thinking if he doesn't have a building, my Hog should get damaged, because if he doesn't have a building, he has to overspend to defend a Hog Rider every time. He has to go for like Delivery Ice Spirit log or Delivery Skeletons log every single time. And I can abuse that fact by just going for a Hog when he has no elixir, or going for a Hog plus log to guarantee some damage. At this point, you know, we're just slow rolling it, we're just waiting, cycling cards. He goes for an Ice Spirit, goes for a Hog. I decided to go for a Musketeer. Again, I'm kind of just waiting to see what he's going to do. He doesn't go for an Earthquake, which I guess was smart. And so I go for a Hog Rider and see how is he going to defend this. Goes for Evo Skeletons, so I'm Ice Spiriting on defense just to make sure they die. And this was a really good log. It resets the Little Prince, and it, you know, got chip damage on his tower. So that's nice. At this point he's going Ice Spirit, so I'm like, okay, where's he going to Hog? I actually meant for the Ice Golem to tank, but didn't happen. I go in for a Hog of my own, just so that, you know, I force out some elixir, and then I know that he's outcycled me, so I'm like, okay, I just need to musk this. He goes for another Hog in the back, and now I'm scared. He's already outcycled me, and he's got, you know, he's got 3 card cycle rolling. So I just decided to fireball and take the 1 Hog hit. Even though I'm, you know, in the damage deficit now, it's okay, because at least now I know what he's running, and I know at this point he has no building. He's played all of his cards, I know he doesn't have a building. In this case, I kept track of his cycle. I knew he was going to go for a Hog Rider, so yeah, I went for the cannon push. And this lane, at this point I realized, okay, I got to change lanes, because I can't just be going into his bomber and his Little Prince. If I change lanes, you know, I log, I think we still do take a little bit of damage, but we get a lot of damage on the right as well. I take damage from his little prince, that's it, which isn't so bad. We got a lot of damage on the right side, and you can see this guy, yeah, he's spamming the angry face. He's not too happy. Again, I hog, and I prediction log this time, because I know that he's going to go for some cycle cards. He just went Skeletons, Ice Spirit, Log, Delivery, just to defend a Hog Rider plus a Log. So, yeah, that was good. Cannoneer sucks against Evo Skeletons, so he's forced to Earthquake on defense, and I'm like, okay, I can go all in now. I prediction log for some Evo Skeletons, but he correctly delays. I Fireball, my Hog gets one more hit, and yeah, that's game. In this match, we're playing against Golem. Again, he's running a bit of a strange Golem deck with no big spells. It makes it a better matchup for me, but it makes it a lot scarier, because if I make one mistake, the push is completely overwhelming. With all these support cards behind a Golem, you know, if you just don't kite something correctly, or if you play some card too late, you can get overrun really quickly. At this point, I still don't really know what he's playing. I went Ice Golem Hog in the opposite lane when he went Phoenix, just because I thought he was playing RG, and I thought he'd have Fisherman, so Ice Golem Hog, and Phoenix can just be countered with either Ice Spirit or Skeletons. He completely sacks all that damage on the left side, and I'm like, I know that I can defend this, because I'm already back to my, you know, cycle cards, and I'm going to have Evo Ice Spirit for this defense. So he just completely lets my Hog go and thinks, okay, he's going to try and tower trade. So I go for, you know, a Musketeer, DPSs this all down, and I know that I need to get my Ice Spirit onto his Night Witch, because the Night Witch is what spawns the bats, and if I can get the Evo Ice Spirit onto it, as you can see, you know, everything just dies. The bats just die to the Evo Ice Spirit. It's the one time where the Evo Ice Spirit's actually useful. So yeah, I'm just going to fast forward now to the next big defense. Nothing really happens here for a little while. He still doesn't give up, which fair enough. He goes for a Golem in the back. I Musk, then Cannon. And then he nados. Strange nado, but his point of this nado is just to instantly kill my Musketeer. But I don't know, I can just Fireball his Bomber and his Night Witch, and then I instantly go for Evo Skeletons, because really what I need to do is DPS down the Golem. I go for this low log, just so that it hits the Phoenix Egg as well, and then just Ice Spirit up high. You can kind of see how I'm spacing everything out, and I'm playing things in unpredictable places. GG's. Finally, I play against Officer Ramses. Ramses is someone I know quite well. He's a fellow Twitch streamer. And at first I wasn't sure if he wanted to draw, which is why we started the game, you know, a little bit late. But he logged my tower, so I was like, okay, he wants to play this game out. I know what he's running. I've played his deck many times. He usually runs Mother Witch though, and this time he was running a slightly different version. I go very aggressive, just because he cycled his Fisherman early. I don't really know why. And yeah, we get some nice early damage. His Fisherman I let connect because I was down so much elixir. I decided just to let it get to my tower and I'll just cannon it. But yeah, I think that was the right play. He cycles a log. We're both just sort of letting our elixir reload. And I know that he's playing RG, and I know that I cannot overcommit in single. If I spend too much elixir in single against RG, the amount of punishing power his deck has is too much. Especially Evolution RG, so I got to be careful. He's just cycling cards. I feel like he could have gone for an RG in the back or something. I don't really know why he's playing. I think he wants his Evolutions. I think that's why he was cycling Archers instead of RG. He goes Skeleton King in the back, so I just go Musketeer. I'm not too scared of if he goes RG opposite lane, then I can just Evo Ice Spirit Cannon, and if he fireballs the cannon, I'll hog at the same time left lane. He'll have 0 elixir. So I wasn't really worried about him going in the opposite lane. I go for my Evo Ice Spirit. Here, maybe I could have fireballed. It would have killed the Fisherman. It would have killed a lot of things. Instead, I go for a Hog because I'm like, okay, he again doesn't have a Fisherman. He's low on elixir. Let's just do it. He kind of messes up his Zappies, and we get a ton of early Hog damage, which is nice. Zappies are a little bit of a strange card. People don't really run them in RG, but this is like Officer Ramses' deck. Instead of Mother Witch, he's running Evo Archers, but yeah, he's been playing this deck for a long time. I go for a Hog again, just to kind of split up his push a little bit. We do manage to get a Hog here, which was a bit surprising. And the defense here was pretty clean. I logged at a right side, and I go for Evo Skeletons. I they were kind of bad Evo skeletons. At this point, I kind of messed up. I went for this cannon, and I was at this point panicking, because I know he has Evo RG, and I knew he was going to go for it instantly. So I don't even spend elixir defending the fisherman. I'm just trying to get back to my cannon. I go Evo Ice Spirit, and then thankfully the Evo Ice Spirit resets. So that was, you know, Evo Ice Spirit has some uses. It resets the Evo RG back onto my cannon, and, you know, we're up almost 1,000 damage, which is nice. This is where I almost lost the game. I go Ice Golem Hog just trying to get damage, and in hindsight, I should have just fireballed his tower. Right, I'm not going to be able to get damage because he's just setting up too much stuff on defense, and I overspend like crazy, and I don't get any damage. So now I have to defend both lanes. Not the best Ice Spirit, and here I really mess up. I logged the right side. Just, I don't know, I wasn't paying attention, and I was like, oops. He got so much, so my tower was full HP on the left, and now it's at 900, 700, 500. So at this point, I was thinking, okay, he's going to spell cycle me, it's probably GG's, but I have one chance. I have Evo Skeletons, he just used his log, I have Evo Skeletons, and first I fireball, just trying to get damage. Good prediction log onto his Scar me, but it's still nowhere near enough. And I'm like, okay, here we go. He's going to go in. He goes in. I go Evo Skeletons, and I just go for a Hog Rider in the middle of all of this. And I pray my Evo Skeletons can chain and kill everything. My Hog gets 1 hit. My Hog gets 2 hits. And because of Evo Skeletons, we managed to fully defend. He's like, wow, can't believe it. I fireball, and that's the game.